So we all know YouTube censorship has gotten bad, but the comments section is even worse than the video section or the live chat section. I've got a couple examples for you today. This is on a Lauren Chen video about Margaret Atwood getting cancelled for being a TERF. And so we see this comment here. You can read it yourself. It doesn't really matter. What I'm going to say is, like anorexics, they, and referring to they, well, I'm not going to say trans in the comment because trans, I know, will draw the censors. It's a keyword that'll trigger them if I call it a mentally ill cult like I'm going to. But pay attention here. You can't call anorexics a mentally ill cult. And so the easiest way to see if your comment got censored is to wait maybe 10 seconds or so, and you go back and you try to edit it. And I edit check my comments quite often. Let's see if it goes through. It appears to go through, and if you do it fast enough, it will appear to go through. Returned error. So this is what you'll see when your comment gets censored. So I got clever on this comment, and I tried to. I think originally I typed it like this. Okay, so like this. They are a mentally ill cult. Like anorexics with similar body identity issues. And so I would have figured that these comments would go through. And actually, the first time I did this, it was on my LGTBT account. So it was a totally different account. Let's do a refresh, and then we'll look down the page. And this is the second way to tell if you've been censored. It's actually not foolproof because sometimes it will shadow post and act like you've posted, and you can see and read the comments. I think that's if the channel has manually blocked you. If YouTube censors you, they'll just disappear. If the channel censors you, you actually look like you've shadow posted, and you'll be able to see your comments there until you switch accounts and go to another account. Alright, so back at the comment, and this time the second half of the comment went through, but not the first half. So, at least a little bit of it got through, but hey, it's not going to make any sense like that, so let's delete it. The first time I did this, none of it went through. I must have typed it a little bit differently. So apparently you can't even call a cult mentally ill, I guess. Another comment that I made on the same video was, well, this is kind of interesting. They were talking about the Gilead biotech company. And so I pointed out that Atwood's book, that where the kingdom is called Gilead, was actually published before Gilead was made. And then I learned, actually looking it up, this is why you should always look stuff up. Donald Rumsfeld was the chairman of Gilead, and he made a ton of money off of the Tamiflu thing during the whole bird flu, where the U.S. government stocked up on stockpiles of Tamiflu that I presume they never used. But the censored comment is one I've tried to leave several times on all sorts of videos. Tony Podesta ran an oil from air shell company called Joule Unlimited for flagship pioneering up until he left to join the Obama administration and the company collapsed. Flagship pioneering made the Podesta WikiLeaks, asking for contacts in Eastern Asia, which in my opinion is clear payola. Flagship pioneering is the owners of the MJAB. I got censored for naming it, so let's take that comment and just demonstrate the censorship on that comment. The MJAB. Okay. Is the owners? Let's say are the owners because that's proper English. Alright, now we wait 10 seconds. I'm not going to play any Jeopardy music for you. Probably a little bit quick on the edit here, but let's try it. Interesting. Is it going to work this time? It's almost like it's working on this account, and yet it didn't on my other account, which is kind of interesting. You can see actually here that I left the original comment on the other account. So that would be an interesting demonstration that you get different results with different accounts. Just to verify, I guess, let's go through and do the refresh test again.
Hey,
Okay, so it did go through this time. Let's delete this comment that got censored originally. Oh, I can't. All right, let's just delete this one. So it is interesting that it did go through this time and it didn't go through on my other account. Different rules for different people would, I guess, make sense with what I've been seeing. So let's try another example that I ran into the other day. It was on a video about the Canadian election. Somebody told me that I'm probably a fat neckbeard and most women are in better shape than me. It's something about feminism, right? And so I used, might as well go to that statistic here. Tackling obesity in Canada, obesity and excess weight rates in Canadian adults, the Government of Canada website. So in 2017, 64% of adults over age 18 are overweight or obese. So I was unable to find men and women broken down, but the rates did seem to be fairly similar in Canada for men and women, while it's different in other countries between genders or sexes. It's the same in Canada, or very similar. So let's see if this one works here. 64% of Canadian women are overweight or obese. And if you're leaving a fresh comment, this is actually a third way that you can censor check yourself. And you just sort that. That's apparently going to work. This whole video going to be pointless? Nope. Now it's gone. Let's just confirm that. So that's the delay that you see in your comments being censored. Newest first. So computer. So 9 minutes ago. Yeah. So that comment got nuked to the ether, even though it's right from the government website. Perfectly, completely true, factual statement, and it's gone. Just to make sure that it's not something to do with this. Well, I know it's not particularly this channel because it originally got nuked on a different thread. But just to make sure that this next example, maybe it has something to do with relevancy to the video, and I'm going to test that one out. So a 2-year-old video from Sargon, The Convenient Death of Jeffrey Epstein. And I've actually been kind of revising my coverage of this, and that whole Edge Club thing, man, there's a lot more ties in that Edge Club now that I'm more familiar with the faces and stuff. Like Sarah Keller, who appears to have dated Max Brockman, who's the son of the founder. Sarah Kellen was Epstein's fixer, and there was another girl there, Rodriguez or something like that, who's in pictures with her, who was at the Edge Club, who's one of the alleged victims. And there's a whole, I've pointed out in my Final Revolution videos, but that cabal there's something up with it. Anyway, this is a kind of weird one. Every time, if you even approach this topic, especially if you're talking about Bill Gates, then it gets censored hard. So, in just trying to get any information across, even vague, like calling it Island Guy and Rich Man, and none of it gets through anymore. There's been a real crackdown in the last month or so. So, I've typed just Google, who founded the program for evolutionary dynamics? All right, and then we'll do it ourselves. So I'm just going to copy paste that. So who founded the evolutionary program for evolutionary dynamics? That's just a lab at MIT, and it's not only just a lab, but an extremely important, prestigious, I guess you'd call it, lab that has done some groundbreaking genetic engineering research, right? Comment gone. It's just gone. You can't even say who founded the program for evolutionary dynamics, meaning that particular phrase is censored by Google. Now, why would Google care so much to go out of its way to censor the lab that Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates were running together? Well, maybe it has something to do with Anne Wojcicki, sister of YouTube CEO Susan. Anne Wojcicki is part of that Edge Club. She knows George Church, who worked at that lab, and she runs 23andMe, the DNA company, and that should be pretty obvious why that would be important. So while we're at it, we're just going to go and Google that ourselves, and let's just look for my comment one more time to really make sure that it just didn't ever process. Yeah, it's gone. So, who founded the program for evolutionary dynamics? Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not lying to you guys. Not making shit up. YouTube is just hiding the fucking truth.